moving of the earth brings harms and fears. Men reckon what it did and meant. But trepidation of the spheres, though greater far, is innocent. Moving of the earth is obviously the earthquake. Reckon here is used in the sense of try to estimate or try to guess. Reckon what it did and reckon what it meant. Every earthquake brings about destructions and frightens people so much that they reckon what it did, meaning start to estimate how much damage it caused. On the other hand, medieval people believed, as many still believe, that a natural disaster only happens when God is angry with certain people in a certain place. At such times, believers usually try to guess what they might have done to deserve such punishment. And that's the meaning of they reckon what it meant. By the way, if you really want to be strict about the rhythm, you've got to pronounce the earth, "thirth," as I have already explained to you. I wish I could skip most of the explanations for the next 3 lines, but it won't be possible to fully understand Renaissance poetry, which is based on medieval ideas, without knowing such points. But I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. For hundreds of years, most of the West and parts of the East had adopted certain ideas about the world, ideas that explained what the world was made of, what the earth and heavens were like, and so on. Such ideas mostly originated from ancient Greece, and little by little, with the lapse of time, they were developed and made more complicated by other peoples as well. For example, it was believed that the earth was a globe or a sphere which was put inside another sphere, the sphere of water. In other words, the earth was covered with water. It was also believed that the quarter of the earth protruded from water, that is, it was not covered by water, and all people in the world lived in that settled quarter. The globe of water was in turn supposed to be inside another sphere, the sphere of air. Up to here the picture sounds quite logical. This is exactly what we see in the physical world. The earth under our feet is covered and surrounded by oceans, and above that is the air or atmosphere. Now, as our fathers believed that everything was made of the 4 elements, earth, water, air and fire, they insisted that there must be an invisible 4th sphere of fire, containing the globe of air. So you see that everything was cleverly accounted for. Earth is the heaviest, so it is at the bottom. Water is lighter, and so it stands above earth. And air, the lightest, goes above water. Now fire, which quickly moves upward in the air, must be even lighter than that, and so it is at the very top. Up to here, everything that existed was subject to change. Everything decayed. Living things would grow old and finally die because the 4 elements in them were not mixed in the correct way. But above the sphere of fire, which was the borderline of heavens, things were very different. There was no change, no death, no decay, because the elements were well mixed in things, and above all, there was a 5th element that formed the atmosphere of the heavens, called ether. Ether was an extremely pure element, as opposed to the filthy, dense air we have here. Now, put planet Earth in the center, and imagine that around it there are 7 transparent or unseen spheres, one inside the other, with one planet attached to every sphere, so that when a sphere moves, the planet fixed to that moves as well. The sphere of the Moon, Mercury, Venus, Sun, Mars, Jupiter, and the sphere of Saturn, each one containing others. Now, above all these, and containing all these, came a very large sphere to which stars were fixed, called the firmament, or the sphere of fixed stars. This plan of universe could not answer some of the irregularities in the movement of heavenly bodies. So hundreds of years passed before another sphere was added to solve this problem, and the answer was the crystalline sphere. The trepidation or vibrations of this sphere was believed to be transmitted to the other inner spheres, and this created the greatest quake in the whole universe. But despite the astronomical magnitudes of these shakings, no one on earth would even feel it, let alone be afraid of it. Now back to the poem. The man is contrasting the little earthquake which frightens and destroys with that unimaginable universal quake in the spheres that is quiet and goes unnoticed. It is innocent, meaning harmless. In means not, nocent means hurt. It does not hurt anyone. Now this is the way he argues. He says, "Oh darling, our love is so spiritual and so great in essence that we must act like this huge heavenly quake, and remain quiet when we leave each other. Remember, people who make a scene when parting, their love is so low and dwarfish, like the little earthly quake." Dull sublunary lovers love, whose soul is sense, cannot admit absence, because it doth remove those things which elemented it. But we, by a love so much refined that ourselves know not what it is, interassured of the mind, careless eyes, lips, and hands to miss. Sublunary means below the sphere of the moon, in the medieval sense of the word, of course, with connotations of decay, changeability, and physicality, as I just explained to you. Notice the repetition of l sound, dull, sublunary lovers love. At least for me, it is an emphasis on the first word, dullness. Sublunary love is indeed boring. Whose soul is sense. Soul here means essence. This kind of love is essentially based on sense and sensation. If there is a separation, lovers stop loving each other because separation takes away or removes the physical attractions. When she is not here, I can't see her beautiful eyes, hair or body, and because my love is limited to these physical things, I just stop loving her. Doth is an old version of does. cannot admit absence means cannot stand absence or separation. Notice the way absence sounds in this poem. Ab, meaning not, like abnormal, and sense, meaning sensation or feeling. So it means no feeling, and in this way it further reinforces the meaning of the poem. Physical love cannot exist where there is no possibility of feeling. This is a pun or a poetic play on words. The real absence, the one written with C, means to be away. Ab means away, sense with C means to be. To element as a verb means to compose or make up, but this is an obsolete word and is not used in English anymore. Those things which elemented it is a reference to human physical beauty, which this sublunary love is based on. Eyes, lips and hands mentioned in the next stanza are just some examples of this sort of physical beauty. Now, in contrast to the previous stanza comes the next. But we hardly worry about missing each other's eyes, lips and hands, because we have been spiritually improved by a pure love, so much improved that we ourselves don't know what kind of love it is that we feel towards each other. This is a reference to an ever-present idea. True lovers don't know why they love each other. Here the meaning fluctuates between 2 points. The primary sense supported by the grammar of the poem is that we are refined, but the phrase "a love so much refined" out of its context tells us that what is refined is the love that we have. See for yourself how artistically this trick is played. I mean how both meanings are conveyed through one single statement. Refined here means made pure. When something is refined, it means that it has been made pure by having other dirty substances removed from it. Interassured of the mind. Here mind is used figuratively and means the thoughts coming to mind. And more specifically, in the case of these two lovers, the spiritual aspect of their thoughts. Assured means confident or certain. It is pronounced assured to make an 8-syllable line, as I have explained before. Inter is a prefix meaning between. So, interassured of the mind is a compressed phrase that means an awful lot of things. It could mean something like, in the relationship between us, we are sure about the spiritual inclinations of our mind. In other words, we are confident that we both prefer a more spiritual love.